Hi guys, Chef Wu Can here. How are you? Today we're going to make Chinese broccoli with oyster sauce and a dash of sesame oil. This is a very traditional dish, and if you guys are tired of lettuce, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, peppers, I would recommend that you consider trying the Chinese broccoli. It's listed by the name Gai, G-A-I-L-A-N, Gai Lan. It's readily available at Wegmans and at any Asian market. It's very, very popular. And the reason why it's so popular is because, just look at it. This is a Gai Lan, right? You have a long stem and you have leafy leaves. Green leaves. And this makes for the perfect flavor combination of textures, crunch as well as the flavors together when you combine it with the oyster sauce and sesame oil. Now, this has its own unique flavor. So we don't really need to apply a lot of oyster sauce or a lot of sesame oil. Those flavors will bring out the flavor of the Gai Lan, Chinese broccoli. Okay? So right now, I'm going to show you, have a whole bunch. We're going to make an order of Gai Lan, right, like the restaurants make, and just have it with a bowl of aromatic jasmine rice. It's a meal in itself, okay? So I'm going to show you how we prepare. Basically, we have the Senkoku knife, and this is a present from Pampered Chef. And I have to say that with a lifetime warranty, it's super sharp. And as always, a super sharp knife is always a safe knife, right? How we cut it? Well, basically, I want you to have your fingers in a crawl position like you're a bear. And I want you to lean the edge of the cleaver against your knuckle, away from your fingers. So your fingers are tucked underneath, and your knuckles are acting as a guide for slicing, right? It may take a little practice. You may not have one of these types of knives, but I would say it's a good investment, all right? So basically we'll hold it firmly and we'll cut at a 45-degree angle. We're not going to cut like this. We want to give it a little style. So we'll cut it that way, at an angle. So you have an angle like this. Keep on cutting. Remember, you want to cut bite-sized pieces that you can grab with a chopstick. Some Chinese, they like to grab the whole, after this is cooked, they'll eat the whole stem. That's their preference. But I say to you that I'd rather have it in small pieces. So we'll just cut at an angle, 45-degree angle, right? Not in a hurry. We'll set it aside. Now, the longest time of any dish is in the preparation process. The actual stir frying is a minute or two. So as long as you have all your stuff ready, then you don't have to worry about it. This dish only requires two main ingredients, sauces. One is oyster sauce. Oyster sauce came from Mr. Lee. His name was Mr. Lee Gum-Gai. And he was president of the Lee Gum-Gai organization. And he was always experimenting with different flavors. And by chance, he used oyster extract. And it created such a really great flavor between salt and sweet that it became so popular, it's now considered the ketchup of the Far East, right? So if you go to get sauces, I always recommend you go with the quality sauces. And the quality sauces for here and for me that I use is Lee Gum-Gai, right? He has an assortment of different sauces. Try it. You'll love it. Garlic. I always prefer fresh. This has been shelled already. I'll show you how to chop it. Now, the garlic in a jar that's all minced with water, it takes away from the natural flavor. It's a matter of convenience for you, right? But if you appreciate good flavor, I would say get the garlic that's been shelled. I know the cloves that have not been shelled may cost a little bit more. You know, you can get a container, and if you use garlic every day, you won't miss out. You'll benefit from a health standpoint. Ginger. Here's a piece of ginger. It's a small piece. Ginger is good for your insides, for your stomach, diarrhea, feeling queasy. It takes care of that right away. So fresh ginger is always good. Substitute ginger powder. If you can't get the fresh, then that's fine. The garlic clove, if you can't get the fresh garlic clove, garlic powder is fine. Okay. Here is Shaoxing wine. With any good cooking, a little wine always adds a little bit more flavor. It adds a little sweetness to it. Sesame oil, very good. This is added at the end. Because of the high flash point, you don't want to add it during cooking. It breaks down too fast. So at the end of your cooking, that's when you would want to add the sesame oil. White pepper. You may see this at your local store, at your local restaurant, Chinese restaurant. Basically, it's a little bit more aromatic than black pepper. It's most popular amongst Asians. And we have the regular oil. Now, you can take the time to say which one is better. Salad oil, peanut oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. I use vegetable oil and canola oil. All right. Unless you're really, really an expert in terms of flavor, it doesn't really matter. All right. You want this oil to use to conduct the heat throughout the whole dish. All right. So right now, I prepared the food. Pretty easy. One. I'll be doing the ginger and the garlic. Ginger. I would use a potato peeler. Take off the outer shell. Remember that the skin should not be shriveled. If it's shriveled, then it's swelled. All right. We don't want it old. All right. We want young, fresh, tender. Use the potato peeler. Peel off the outer skin. And basically, we'll just cut down. Notice my fingers are in, tucked in. The surface of the knife is against my knuckle, and I take a stroke. Now, if you have a sharp knife, then you really don't have to worry about being cut. Just cut away from your fingers. Make sure your fingers are tucked underneath, and lean the surface of the knife against your knuckles. And cut away in one stroke at a time. Okay? So we'll cut it this style. We want it to have a presence so people could see that we're using real fresh ginger. Garlic. Alright, basically, the thing with garlic is, I'm not an advocate of the garlic press. I mean, the purpose of the gadget is to make your life easier. I just feel that the garlic press is a little bit more effort involved. Chef Woo's way of crushing garlic is the cleaver. This is 100% high carbon steel. It's one piece. You don't have to worry about it flying off your hand. All right? And basically, you take the flat surface, put the garlic down, keep it flat, and just go. Done. Done. And then you scoop it, press it all down into a little pile. Then, the same method, fingers tucked in, lean against your knuckle. In many households in China, the only utensil they have is the cleaver. All right, so we got the ginger, we got the garlic, we got the oyster sauce, we got the Shaoxing wine, the sesame oil, and the oil. All right, so with this vegetable, like all vegetables, Chinese vegetables that we have, basically you want to obtain an emerald green color. Anything past that, the vegetable is going to turn soft and soggy. All right? You want Chinese vegetables to be crunchy and not well done. So that emerald green color lets you know right off the bat that it's perfect. Okay? Anything past that, just forget about. It'd be just like broccoli. So when we were growing up, obviously we know that, broccoli was overcooked. It was putrid green color. So now, Asian cooking, we have a better appreciation. You want crunchy, stir fry. Because when it's crunchy, stir fried, the heat seals in the crispness and the flavor inside the vegetables. You don't lose anything. We're not boiling it, okay? If we do anything with the Chinese broccoli, Gai Lan, it's just basically parboiling it pretty quick, all right? So that doesn't have opportunity to lose all those vitamins, all right? So basically, we have a butane stove here. And we're gonna heat up, parboil the Chinese broccoli. Now you say, do I have to do that to all vegetables? Not always, right? But because there's a stalk, it's a little thick, it may take a little longer to stir fry, so you want to cut down the stir frying time. So that's why we parboil the Chinese broccoli. Gai Lan, Gailan. And you can buy it at Wegmans. They have an Asian food section. Now, we have a scoop. This is made in China. It's not readily available in America yet, only in Asian markets, but it's very helpful. It's made out of bamboo, metal, wire. Comes in very handy. Looks very primitive, but yet practical. Now, you can have the rice, a scoop of jasmine rice with a side order of the Chinese Gai Lan, and that's a meal in itself. But you remember, in China, meat was a commodity. So, all they had was vegetables and rice, all right? So, we're spoiled with all the beef, the chicken, the pork, the fish. If you go in inner China where there's no ocean, where it's real poor, they don't really have much in terms of buying a cow or a sheep or a chicken. So they basically had just vegetables. Whether that's good for us, it is. For vegetarians, it's even better. But if you want to eat healthy, it's just as good. And you can substitute the jasmine rice with brown rice. Just double the water. Instead of the 1 inch above the leveled rice, you add 2 inches, right? And the brown rice offers fiber, all right? So the water's cooking. It's going to boil. So the most time that's spent cooking-wise is in the preparation. You get that all done. You get all the sauces all figured out. Stir-frying is just combining everything together. That may take 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. And yet it's going to taste wonderful. Okay, so it's boiling. We'll add the Gai Lan, Chinese broccoli. We'll swish it around a little bit. Make sure, emerald green color. And when you finish with cooking with the wok, all you have to do is just rinse it in the water. You don't have to use detergent, right? Because that will retain the seasoning, and just heat it up a little bit afterwards and wipe it, and then you're ready for the next meal. Okay. So for those that a little bit more cleanliness wise, you might have to get used to it. But you know what? Just think of it this way: it's a natural non-stick surface, and if you're using a non-stick pan, use it at medium, and you're never going to get the same flavor that the restaurant does, because they're using the wok where the flames come up to here. right? High intensity heat, a lot of burning, a lot of sauteing, so it's going to be a different flavor. But we can't do that with our electric stove or gas grill. So basically, you know, if you want to make sure that it's well done, or it's done, you want to take a piece of the stem. It's an emerald green color. Nice crunch. It's done. Don't take the leaf. Take the stem. It didn't take long at all. Now, if you had a party and you were making other dishes, I would run it on cold water to stop the cooking process. But basically what we're going to do here is empty out the water, right? So I'm back. All right, so now the water is evaporating. You don't want to have water when you add the oil. It's going to splatter. All right, just to let you know from a safety standpoint. Add oil. Add ginger. Add the garlic. Saute. Stir fry. This procedure will let the flavor, the oils of the ginger and the garlic to infuse with the oil. But always, always stir fry. Now we're going to add the vegetables. Now we'll add the sesame. Now we'll add the oyster sauce. Alright. Saute it. Now it's already cooked, so pretty much you don't have to overcook it. Alright? White pepper. And the sesame oil. Here's our jasmine rice. Nice little round amount. Take the vegetables. Notice the color? It's perfect. Take my trusty chopsticks. I'll take a piece of the stem. Very crunchy. With a little bit of jasmine rice. They go perfect together. Have a leaf, small portion, small morsel, with a little rice. Delicious. It's really good. Leave it up to Chef Wu can to cook you up a nice meal. Right? This is authentic. This is not the carrots, Chinese, American broccoli, peppers, onions. That's in a typical Chinese American restaurant. This is homegrown. This is made for traditional people. Which, you know, when you're surrounded by your relatives, you can't help it. So this is good as a meal in itself if you're a vegetarian. Any questions? Go to check me out at www.chefwucan. I want to wish everyone a very nice holiday season. Be safe. I want you to tune in for my other YouTube videos. I'll be covering the gamut in terms of other countries' favorites. If you guys like sushi, which I'm sure everybody does, I'll be able to show you how to make a California maki roll. Then I have a mold to make fresh nigiri. So you can buy the imitation crab, seaweed at Wegmans, and or parboil some shrimp, and you'll be able to just wrap it around the nigiri sushi, and it's really delicious. So a lot of the stuff now will be more traditional, which might be a little bit healthier than the typical Chinese American meals, like General Tso's chicken. Although it tastes so good, you know, I want to expose you to the traditional foods that we have. And if you have any questions, you know, let me know at pearlwoo17@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Remember my motto: Chef Wu can, you can too. It's that easy. All right. Thank you for your time, and I hope you appreciate it. And please subscribe and like me on YouTube. All right. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.